What's going on, Vigor Life crew? Hey, tune in today into the Vigor Life episode with Tony Jeffries and Glen Holmes of Box and Burn. And the three things you're gonna find out in this episode is, number one, 3 things you gotta do as a coach to succeed. It goes for athletes, it goes for business owners, it goes for coaches. You gotta follow these 3 things to get to that 1% in the industry. Number 2 is the biggest mistake that coaches make, and it's one that you probably haven't heard of, but I'm telling you, it's the secret sauce to really skyrocketing ahead, because most folks don't know this, or should I say they just don't follow it. And then find out the framework that Box and Burn took to become a 7-figure boxing class business that's now teaching this all across the world through certifications and through licensing, because this will be something you can take to your model as a coach, whether you're in a gym, whether you're solo, it doesn't matter. All right, tune in, and there's one kind of like hidden nugget egg in there that you're gonna basically get a $300 value from, but you gotta tune in for it. See you inside of the episode. What's going on, guys? Back with the Vigor Life podcast, special episode because we have people live and in person. My friends Tony Jeffries, Glen Holmes came in to do the grand opening of Box and Burn here at Vigor Ground. So of course, we snatched them up for a podcast. If you guys are watching this in video, you can see that Tony is not from Washington State. This dude is bundled up. Glen's keeping it kind of Seattle-ish right there, you know what I mean? But Tony's not having it.
You wouldn't even think I was from England. I've just got soft. I've been living in California for 10 years now, and now I come here and it's freezing. I need to have my coat everywhere.
Dude, you'll relate to this. Ferrugia, who grew up in Jersey, went to New York years ago in the winter, and he's just like dying from it's just so cold, and I'm like, dude, it's 44 degrees. It's like this. What happens when you move to Cali?
Yeah, it makes you soft. It definitely does.
So but I'm trying to keep it real and keeping my my hoodies on too. But man, hey, it's an honor to have you guys on the podcast, on the show. I kind of want to dig in. I was like, okay, what am I going to talk about today? Because we can go a long ways. But for both of you, obviously you have different stories. Man, like what did boxing? It's going 10,000 foot view, but the different journeys that you went through, how does it relate to life, and what did you get out of it, man? Because for me, as I tell this story, basketball saved my life. I was a knucklehead kid. I was doing organized crime. If it wasn't for basketball, I don't know what would have happened, number one. But number two, all these lessons from ball helped me be a much better business owner. Leadership, work ethic, because I wasn't really genetically gifted. Being a leader and learning to be a leader as I was a team captain and all these different things, I go back and I go like, man, like I'm successful in some ways now because of the things that I did from ball. Yeah. But I'll start with you too, Tony. Like, what, obviously the journey took you here, but what are those things you look back, you go like, man, like here's like these principles that I've carried over into life that have been so valuable. Yeah.
So it's funny that boxing is kind of navigated me full life to where I am right now. And when I first went into the gym, I never thought I would be a boxer or my life would be all about boxing. But it literally is. It's all that I do and all that not all that I know, but all that I focus my time and energy on is boxing. And yeah, the lessons that it's carried over into everyday life is the hard work and the dedication that goes into being a boxer or an athlete, a basketball player. When I got forced to retire from boxing, life was simple. All I had to do was switch focus from putting all the hard work, dedication to have the success that I had in boxing into something else, and that just went through the roof. So you think how much work you've got to put in to have the success that I had in the sport, right?
Well, actually, I wanted to ask you that. From this, I love this conversation, by the way. How many years, and just tentatively, how many hours you were doing, right, to get before you even went to, for instance, the Olympics and going pro. Like, I want to personally even know how much work was put in, years wise, hours wise, to get there.
What's crazy is when I was 16 years old, I was the champion of England, and I got put on an 8-year training program for the 2008 Olympics.
So you're saying the 8-week training programs are a little short?
But obviously then it wasn't just like, I'm 16, my end goal or my goal is the Olympics, and I'm just working towards that. in them 8 years, there was 100 different short-term goals. And each one, it might have been a European Championship, it might be a dual international against England versus France, it might have been the World Championships, it might be the National Championships. You've had all of these, they're not small goals, they're big goals, but you had all these goals on the way to the ultimate goal. Now, without all of them goals to the ultimate goal, I would never have made that ultimate goal because I would have got disheartened and bored, you know what I mean? So you're not just training for the Olympics, you're training for all these other little tournaments, not little big tournaments along the way. And that kept you motivated and kept you, hungry for this bigger goal. And yeah, working so many hours, dedicating my full life, sacrificing friendships, sacrificing school, education, didn't go to the school prom, sacrificing holidays with my friends, not drinking alcohol, not being with girls. Well, I didn't sacrifice that much.
Not fully.
Me creepy laugh. No, I did. Sacrificed so much for the goal to get to the Olympics, and that's what you've got to do for success. Make sacrifices.
But when you were the champion in the UK, when did you start boxing?
I started boxing when I was 10 years old. I became champion when I was 13 years old. I was the champion of the UK. Got picked for England when I was 15 years old. Got took to Russia, fight England versus Russia as a 15-year-old kid from the northeast of England. Didn't know what was happening. And then come back, got selected for the European Championships at 16, won a gold medal. The champion of England, champion of Europe as a 16-year-old. And then that was when they selected me and other people from the UK for this 8-year training program. And it wasn't, once you've selected for this program, you're on it for 8 years. No, you had to keep up your performance. There's always people coming from behind, like the number 2 at your weight category, wanting to get that number 1 spot. So you always had to be ahead of your game.
This you know what? This is an interesting question too for me. You guys both heard of the passion hypothesis?
No.
It's from Cal Newport talks about it, right? Like people think that you do something and you're like, oh, I'm really passionate about it,
Yeah.
And because of that, you started doing more of it. That was not my experience with basketball. I sucked. It made me angry. People would make fun of me, so I practiced more, right? And then as I got better, I actually started loving the sport. I want to, for both of you, but was that, were you go to first boxing practice, ooh, I love this, I want to do this? Or was there another reason that you kept going? Yeah. It's when you're not good. Because I truly believe in that it doesn't work that way. The better you get, the more passionate you become about stuff, right. and you got to go through the the shitty, not that great part, which I think a lot of people get stuck on. They go oh man, I don't feel super in love with this. I'll just quit, which is why people keep quitting at stuff.
Yeah. So I was always good, and I was knocking people out when I was 15 years old. I got punched really hard.
I know, yeah.
As you've just found out there, half an hour ago, look. I was really strong, really punched really hard, and because I was so good and I was having so much success, I continued doing it. I don't know if I was keep failing and keep losing all the time, wasn't on the England team, wasn't winning national titles. I don't know if I would have continued doing it, but because I was good and I was the best, it was great, and I was keep winning.
See, the thing is, I'm trying to extract the lesson always. You know what I mean? Be good, keep going. But the thing is, I truly. But there's actually, for if anybody wants to read this book, you'd love, both of you guys would love this. It's called The Gold Mine Effect. It's basically, why are these gold mines? In Kenya of runners, in Brazil of soccer, and it's fascinating because in Brazil, the kid from the favela will have 10,000 hours of soccer by the time they're 13 years old. Wow. Playing with no shoes.
Yeah.
So and it's not non-organized, right? It's they're practicing, they're playing. And
it's just lifestyle.
Yeah, it's just lifestyle. It's just, and you're kind of forced to do it because it's okay, do you work for the drug lords or do you go try to make it out of soccer, right? And I have there's great examples, but my personal, even though you're hey, I was good at it, I was punching people hard, and it's I felt good, so I'm gonna keep going. I always tell people look, you should for a while keep going regardless, because when you feel better, it's just we're talking about the classes, the boxing ring classes, and you guys do such a great job of, somebody that is not necessarily good at boxing. We were talking about it yesterday, right? You can tell this person's never done it, and they do you give them some coaching and they do a little better, and you're like, oh, that's amazing. It's so much better, so much improvement, right? That person's like, yeah. So even though it's like it went from shit to suck, it's it's better. And then they go like, man, I like that. I'm gonna come back next time.
Yeah.
So if you feel a little bit of progress, like even if you're not that great, like it makes you keep going, and you keep building on that.
And I kind of see the same thing with content, because now I focus my time on YouTube and creating content. Is like, you're not going to be good on creating your first video or your 10th video as long as you just get that little bit of progress every single time and get better and better each time. Eventually you will get good at it.
That just comes from the consistency, just doing it.
The consistency of doing it. And with that as well, what disheartens a lot of people on the content side of things is they'll post 50 different videos and they'll be getting 10 views. And they'll be like, oh, I'm putting all this time, energy, effort into this and I'm not growing, my following's not growing. Maybe this is not for me. And what I see is you're just one piece of content away from it changing your full life. You really are. Everyone's just one piece of, it might be a graphic, a video from everything changing. And that happened with me, with me YouTube. One video changed everything. Up until then, I wasn't getting many views. But if I quit and I stopped because I wasn't very good at YouTube, I wouldn't have seen the end result. And yeah, I think it will be the same with boxing as well. If you're talking about fighting or anything, or basketball, you never know how good you might get if you quit.
That's, the whole point of like, and I think that frame helps, right? Hey, maybe it's 101, maybe it's the 200th piece of, maybe it's two, right? But you go like, the next one's gonna be, I'm gonna keep making it better, but the next one might be the one. Right. And you just keep going, and it's like in that process, of course you get better, of course you get more views and you get more of everything, right? Like
if someone said to you, you're gonna post 100 videos, and your 110, or you're gonna post 99 videos, and your 99th video, that's the one that is gonna go viral and change everything. The other 98, you're gonna feel. You will be so excited to post these videos.
You'll be trying to get the 99 ASAP.
Yeah, you will be happy to feel because you knew when you got there, that's what's going to explode. And that's true. It might be the 99th video. It might be the 599th video when we're talking about content. I would drifted off the subject here a bit. But you've just got to keep putting it out there.
That's great, man. I like that. I want to go to Glen too and go. I want to know what was your sticking point where you figured that out as far as like, okay, like I'm gonna keep doing this because I want to get great at it on the boxing side.
Yeah, well, but with boxing for me, I just loved watching it. Like I was just obsessed with watching it and really into it as a sport. And then I was like, right, if I'm gonna I need to try this. Like, I want to see what it feels like. And then I was like, wow, this is amazing. It felt like this is made for me. But same as what you were saying with the basketball, it's like my only goal at the beginning was like, I want to be able to walk into a boxing gym and just like go and train and look like I know what I'm doing. I don't want to, that's all I wanted was just that feeling of confidence that I can walk into a gym.
A beginner and that.
Yeah. And I realized very quickly it's going to take me a long time to get to that point. I'm going to have to go every single day. I'm going to have to do this day in, day out, and I'll just stick with it. And going back to the consistency point, I think you're only going to be consistent if you're enjoying it. And if you're enjoying it and you're kind of starting to progress and you feel like, oh, I'm pretty good at this pretty quick, or you pick things up and you're coachable, then that's kind of a recipe for success to maybe go and do it as a career. And so for me, it was just get a coach, go every day, find friends that love it, and just immerse myself in it. And that's what I did.
So really, like, man, you make good points because you kind of made your environment be something that drives you to be better.
Yeah, I was fortunate because I kind of got out of a career and then had time on my hands. And I was like, right, what am I going to do? So I was a little bit stressed in terms of like finances, and I'm not really doing anything career-wise right now, but I had time. So I just was like, right, I'm just going to live like an athlete, wake up, run 5 miles every day, get down the boxing gym, train, go and train with my trainer, do strength and conditioning. That's all I cared about. And then if I wasn't doing it, I'd be on watching YouTube videos, watching boxers train, learning about boxers train, buying magazines. I was just obsessed with it. And I just loved it so much, and I loved learning. And I was like, whoa, I think this is like what I really want to try and do something with this. But I was just like, where do I start? How do I do this? Like, this isn't going to be a career. It's just something that I like. So I'm like, right, still got to get a job. But then shortly around that time when I was like really into it, that's when I met Tony, and then he was like, oh, coming up with these boxing classes, and he was the one that encouraged me for the first time to get on the coaching side, put the mitts on, and start helping with the coaching bit. And then that's when I was like, wow, I can like show people all this passion and knowledge I've built up. And
it's kind of like what I was saying about putting your time and energy into something else. It's going to have success. Like, you were obsessed with boxing and doing it yourself. You put that obsession into coaching and helping people and understanding the coaching side of it and the psychological side of coaching and all of that. And that's when your personal coaching business just went flying through the roof.
Yeah, it's just like the rewards that you get from stuff. So it's like the rewards from boxing. It's like, right, I've improved my self-esteem. I've built my confidence. I feel, faster, sharper, more explosive, whatever. And then it's like I started to get that from coaching too. It's like starting to see people lose weight, gain more confidence, and it's all because of what I've given them. I'm like, whoa, that's a huge reward. And then that becomes addictive. You're like, I just want to help more and more people.
That was what pulled me in.
Right?
Coaching was like,
So
legitimately that was the big thing.
Yeah, that's huge. And then you're like, wow, I'm really important to these people. And then they're like, inviting you to their weddings, or like giving you Christmas presents and inviting you to, you're like, whoa, I've changed people's lives. It starts to hit you, like I'm changing lives. And then with the academy that we've traveled the world the last 5 years teaching other coaches how to do it. And then the same thing, it's like, all right, I've impacted these people personally. Now I'm impacting coaches who are then going to influence more people. So it's like you're helping more people even more, right? So if I help one coach and then he goes and changes 5 lives, and then 10 people come to our course, and then they all go and change 5 lives. It's like, it's just kind of multiplying. Yeah, and then just seeing the result, the response from coaches being like, wow, we've launched a career after taking your course, or I've opened a gym and I've done this, and I'm just like, it blows me away. I'm like, whoa, that's insane.
But this is what I'm really intrigued by, boxing versus coaching, right? Because you guys know this too, right? Like, you have great boxers that are not great coaches. As a matter of fact, I would probably say it like leans towards that side, because I think there's coaching is a skill set.
Totally.
And I go same things for high level athletes. I mean, I got to a pretty high level, but I would say just being good at that doesn't transfer over to just being a great coach. I actually want to dive in, because this is very relatable in boxing and fitness. I mean, honestly, like even just running the classes and the stuff that we were talking about, what do you think are the top characteristics? So if you look at, yourselves as coaches and the best coaches that you had under you or that you've coached that now run, gyms in the program, what are the things that you see and you're like, these are the things that stand out that tell me this is going to be a great coach?
I just want to see what you said there was great about just because you were a high-level athlete, it doesn't mean you can coach that. And we've worked with thousands of fitness professionals over the years, and we find that a personal trainer or a fitness professional can teach boxing for fitness way better than a former boxer can teach boxing for fitness, because they know how to talk to people. They know how to relate to people, where former boxers don't. And we've educated both. And at the gyms that we've had in Los Angeles, we've hired both. We've hired former boxers to teach boxing for fitness and fitness professionals to teach boxing for fitness. I would much rather have the fitness professional, and our Glen would as well, learn how to teach boxing for fitness and teach it because of them reasons there,
It's hilarious. Like I was just talking, I had a Mike Bowen on the podcast, and he was like, I don't hire bodybuilders. I don't hire super high-level elite athletes. I don't, right? Because I've just found that they're not nearly as good at coaching than some coaches that become really good at like helping people that have that, Danny Meyer calls it the hospitality reflex, service interest, good communicators, right? But it's interesting to hear, and I think powerful to hear. You kind of find the same way that sometimes you have to almost unlearn to then relearn, right? Then when somebody's a sponge, like for instance, for example, right? Like somebody goes to your certification, but it's like they don't have, maybe they have a little bit of a base of boxing, but like they don't have anything else, but you're a sponge, right? It's like now, but the thing is you're picking up how to teach it, but you're picking up how to teach it through great coaching.
Yeah.
And you're gonna run better classes, better one-on-ones, better everything. Like, you make more money, right? Because people want to come back and coach with you because you make them feel better. You make them feel like they're progressing, like you're likable. Important thing. Like if you're a dick, nobody wants to come. It's like great boxer, dickhead.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty of them. Don't worry about it.
Plenty of that, right?
But now see this: if I try to teach a middle-aged lady, middle-aged man, kid, if I try to teach someone how my coach taught me, they would never come back for fitness. Come on, Tony, keep your fucking hands up and slap us across the head. Like, if I imagine I'd done that with one of these lawyers in Los Angeles, like, whoa, you cannot do it. So you've got to understand, how to teach people for fitness, and it's two completely different things.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotional intelligence to coaching, as we know, which a lot of people coming from the boxing world don't really have. But just to quickly go back, like, you got a picture of Michael Jordan right there, and it's like one of the greatest athletes of all time. Like, it's like, I think a lot of pro athletes and really successful athletes who've been in that sport for a long time, they're not going through that sport dissecting what they're doing or dissecting why they're so talented or what their movement patterns or anything like that, or like how and why am I doing this? They're not doing that. They're just being told what to do and executing. Coached, execute, coach, execute, right? And there's very few pro athletes who go through that career and are able to analyze why they're good and what makes this team great or whatever, and have that kind of thought pattern. I think Tony has that, and there's very few people that go through professional sports careers that are able to step back at their end of the career and be like, I did this way because of this and this, and they can look back on it, and then that's what will make them a good coach in the future, because they're able to process why things were successful. Whereas I think a lot of athletes just don't even think about it. They just execute, and then they come out of it and then retire, and then they wouldn't even have a clue. Like, why were you so good, Michael? It's like, oh, I could just jump really high and my coach told me what to do. It's like, you got no chance being a coach.
I mean, it's that saying, like, you connect the dots looking backwards, not forward. But, looking backwards, I mean, think about when you went from pro to coach. Yeah. So what were the obstacles, and then what were the obstacles, and how did you go like, oh shit, I can't do the things the way that I was doing them. I gotta coach people to keep coming back to make money. Like,
right. Well, before I start, I just want to see what Glen just said there. I understand way more about boxing now than when I was boxing, because I coach it and I break things down, and that's why you do that. That's why I've been doing that all my time.
Yeah, and then you're like, in that fight in 2006 when I did that, that's why I was doing it.
That's why I knocked him out, because I've done that. I wish I knew that. But and then the obstacles going from a pro boxer to teaching boxing for fitness, it was a little bit of ego. I remember going into the first gym I worked at, and I was seeing these trainers teaching boxing for fitness, and they were killing it, and they weren't doing it incorrect. And I'm like, how the fuck's that guy getting all these clients, making all that money? Look, he's not even doing this. The client's not even bringing the hand back to the face. The client's not. And I was really negative towards them, rather than like seeing, well, if I'd done that. What are they doing? Yeah. Well, and then seeing how they're speaking to people. And then I learned and soon thought, like, it's not about them looking like $1 million. It's about them enjoying the session, having a great workout, and learning some boxing in that order.
And enjoying you as a person.
Oh, that's great. Like, say that again. What's the order?
So that's the order is for anyone, whether it's boxing or coming to your gym, Luca, is if someone comes to you for training, the number one thing they've got to get out of that session is enjoyment. Because if they don't enjoy the session, they're not coming back, they're not telling their friends, they're not posting on social media. They might have the best workout in the world, they might be exhausted, or they might be doing boxing training looking like Floyd Mayweather, but if they don't enjoy it, they're not coming back. So the number one thing is enjoyment. And then they're coming to you for a workout. So the number two thing is to have a great workout, right? They need to have that great workout. And the number three thing is they'll learn something new, where in our case, it's boxing. So if they learn how to, box better, that's it. I could spend 1 hour right now with you, Luca. You've got a good job, but I could perfect your job in 1 hour, right? And if you were the general public coming in, you will be bored after 5 minutes. Like, this is all I'm going to do, work on this job. You'll be bored, right? So you wouldn't want to come back. It took the fun out of the session. It also took the work out of the session, rather than giving you a 1-2 roll, 2 hook 2, learning a longer combination than that. What's not perfect, but you're enjoying it because now you're rolling out the way of what you might think's a punch coming at you, and also you throw more punches, so you're getting a better workout. Little psychology tricks like that is why we've had so much success in this boxing fitness space, and that's the sort of things that we teach people when they're trying to learn how to teach boxing.
Man, I think that I hope we definitely got to cut this part out, because this goes for, I think, fitness, boxing, obviously a mix of it is what you
you
guys,
said cut this part out for a clip.
Correct.
Not cut it out because it was shit. You didn't know what he's talking about.
That was horrible. Cut it. No, because it's that important, because you have, and I can think about back in the day being like that. Like, it's got to be, like, I'm so good at this shit. Like, it's got to be so amazing. But it's like, listen, if you can't, who's going to be more successful from a results perspective, right? They love your class. Somebody is teaching the details so much, so crazy, so in depth, and they'll be there for 3 sessions. But they'll be there for 200 sessions because they keep enjoying it.
Right.
Over 200 sessions, and you have small incremental progress, that person is going to be, lose weight, be more confident, better conditioning, better body, whatever, better confidence, right? Improve. Then the person is like, yeah, I taught them 3 sessions so dialed in, and they just weren't committed, right?
Yeah.
Or fucking clients,
it was their fault. I'm the best coach. I know exactly.
I teach this shit so well. They're just not committed.
So our goal when someone comes to us, especially for the first time, our number one goal is to get them to come in again. Yes, because it's our business, but as well, they come into us because they want to work out. They might be suffering from anxiety, depression. They might want to lose weight, and if they don't come back, we kind of disservicing them. So how do we get them to come back? By them enjoying the session. So their boxing form and technique doesn't have to be perfect that first session. They need to enjoy it. The next session they come back, then we can tighten that up a little bit. We can tighten up because we know now they've enjoyed the session. Mm-hmm. And then over time, like you said, we can get them results. They'll be able to get better at boxing over time. But if that first session, we're trying to be perfectionists, we're trying to make sure they've got a perfect jab, they're bringing the hands back perfectly to the face, they're probably not going to come back. So we've disserviced them. Let's get them back in the gym. Let's earn more money as fitness professionals, but also let's help this person who's coming to us for help.
Yeah, you got to get the buy-in first.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to go back to like when you guys like started, because the conversation, I think that's when people listen to any type of episodes, it's inspiring. It can be like inspiration, aspirational to be like, oh man, like I want to be like these guys, right? They're where they are. But I'm trying to dig back to like when you guys started, some of the obstacles that you had, right? It wasn't just smooth as butter. Like what made, Box and Burn successful? But the thing is, what were the things that you were running into, like the lessons that you were learning?
Systems was number one, I think. Like, I think that was the biggest challenge. Like, it was very popular from the beginning before we even had the facility. So at the beach, more and more people come in every week. We were just like, wow, this is growing. Then, but
you did it. I'm gonna stop it. That's important. You guys started on the beach.
Started on the beach, donation only boot camp, not making any money.
Man, see, I've related, right? We've been doing shared boot camps for 14 years.
Right, yeah. Donation only boot camp, doing it because we love it.
Which is like once a week, or start doing?
No, we were doing it like 5 times a week, every day.
Wow.
Yeah, because we knew we wanted to open up a facility if we found one. Okay. So we did that just to, we didn't have a facility just to
get the foot on the line.
I thought that was important though.
Yeah. But it was like, if you think about it now, it's a little bit like embarrassing considering like you see gyms open now and it's like Instagrammable from the start and there's loads of money behind it and there's systems and there's tech and all this, and it's like this was started in 2012, so it's 10 years ago. Empty warehouse. We had a handful of medicine balls, handful of dumbbells, some boxing gloves and jump ropes and some mitts, right?
Part of it because it's like you guys didn't have money.
Pretty much nothing, yeah. And then but people loved it. We would set up circuits, we would have mitt work. Didn't even have heavy bags yet, and it was just, we'd program the workouts, and then it would be like 15, 20, 30, 40, and then within 6 months it was like 50, 60 people showing up for classes. But to answer your question about the obstacles, it was just like we didn't have any front desk people, we didn't have any way to check in. They was writing a name on a piece of paper. We had no like real sales system or anything like that. It was just really, really raw and organic. Just let's get this thing going. And then over time it starts to, right, now we've got some money, now we can hire somebody to sit at the front desk for a few hours and that kind of thing.
But what did you, like for instance, like this is like always interesting. When you did that, like what was your main like focus?
it was all about giving the clients a great workout.
Right, yeah.
It was all about them, giving them a great service, where we would have hand wraps rolled up, washed for them for when they come in, and we didn't charge them for that. They never had gloves. Yeah, we give you some gloves to use as well. And we really over-delivered on the workouts. But at the time, we didn't even know what over-delivering was. We just did what we did.
Yeah, and just being nice to people and learning names, using names, and just making them feel like as soon as you get done with work, this is where they want to be at. As soon as, before you go to the office in the morning, this is where you want to come, right? And just,
I've never been a fan of...
It's a great community.
I've never been a fan of the way lots of gyms run, where they've got like enrollment fees to come to my gym, and then you've got, oh, you want to sign up? Well, you need to have a 3-month contract, a 6-month contract. Yeah, this much down payment, and you've got the sleazy salesman trying to sell it. Now, that was then. Now I understand all of that side a bit more and understand why people are doing it. But then I was like, nah, fuck that. You know, you want to come? It's this much a month. That's it. You want to cancel? Yeah, cancel. It's everything's month to month. Just come. There's your gloves. We give you everything, and you know, you get your best workout ever.
It was really easy.
And that was
simple.
it. It was really, people loved it, and that built that loyalty, built that community, because people seeing that we weren't doing this to try and get rich quick or anything like that, you know, and it worked.
There's like two things that kind of stand out to me, and it's the things I keep learning after being in business for such a long time. But it's number one, all the other stuff wasn't in place. You probably didn't even know how to do, like, shit, how do we build these systems? What do we do, right? But when you focused on the client and the experience and the community, like, it's just like, holy shit, we're going from 15 to 20 to 30 to 40 people.
Yeah.
Well, it's growing. People want to keep coming back. So it's like that should be the goal always, right?
Yeah.
And then once you do it for a while, this is what I've found too, right? And it's happened to me too, where it's like, you do it for a while and you focus on marketing and, you know, you're trying to fix up all these things in the systems and you stop focusing, you know, you maybe you're like, oh, I'm just going to let it cruise. You stop focusing on that, which is always making it better. Like if you can always keep the focus on, keep that experience amazing, like your business will do pretty damn good. Now, of course, marketing and sales are important, systems are important, absolutely. But I think that people can kind of veer away from that over time. You know, I call it's like the law of the slight edge. You know, it's like it's so little. You know, you come a little later. Yeah. You don't greet your clients with as much enthusiasm because now you're a little bit off, whatever, right? Systems are in place, and it's just like, you know, a year later, it's just not the same service, right?
I think as well, like delivering customer service and a good experience, building a culture and a community, is very hard to learn how to do that and very hard to pull it off. I think that just comes from having passion and loving what you're doing and being a nice person and just, you know, just being decent. That's what creates that. Learning how to do email marketing, learning how to put a point of sale system in place, learning how to client retention, email marketing, all that can be learned. And that's, you know, it's like you can go online and teach yourself how to do that. You can hire people to do that kind of stuff. You can't really hire people to be the face of your gym and implement it how you want. You can, but it's like, for us, it was just, like Tony said, people just loved that the three of us were there and with a smile on our face, loved teaching boxing and putting them through good workouts. And yeah, the rest can kind of be learnt, you know?
It's I love that you're saying it because like Danny Meyer has this, you know, 50-1er rule. It's like you can teach the technical aspects, but it's like if you're not a person that has empathy and compassion, is a hard worker, a team player, doesn't, you know, wants curiosity, wants to get better, it's hard to teach that, right? So you kind of need like if you have that, you can learn everything.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so great because if you have that, then take a, you know, system like Tony Jeffries Connect or the boxing stuff that you guys teach. It's just like, dude, I will teach you this stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, are you going to show up and people are like, oh, this person wants to be here.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they're here for us. They're excited to see us, man. Because I've seen that. Like when you come in and it's like, I'm here, you know, because I'm making my buck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's nothing worse than that. Like and I don't care what the service is, right? It's like it could be massage, it could be like training or boxing, whatever. You're like. You look at the person. Oh, you can feel it. It's like they're just going through their. I'm going through the emotions. It's like, you're just not gonna feel the same way.
Yeah.
Have you noticed this? If you go to a facility, it might not doesn't have to be a gym. It could be a restaurant or hairdressers. You don't know the hairdressers, Luca. It could be a massage parlor, a beauty salon, whatever it might be. You can always tell who the owner is. where they're like, oh, hi, how are you? And they've got that passion and they're really passionate about it. We in Australia, and we were like, there was a woman serving us in this restaurant, and we were like, she's so passionate, she's got to be the owner, she's got to be the owner. So I asked her, I was like, you're the owner of this place, right? She went, oh no, I'm just working here. And we were like, wow, she's the best employee ever. Because, it's really, really hard to get these A players when they don't own the facilities.
But I also think it's very naive to expect people who you're employing or working within your business to have the same level of passion that you're going to have for it. That's never going to happen. And I think that's a lesson learned as well. Like in the beginning, it was like hiring coaches and stuff. And we'd hire someone and we'd expect them to just like love it as much as us and have the same passion and be like, this is the greatest thing. And then 3 months down the line, it's like, they'd show up for the classes and then they drift off. You're like, why do you not get it? Why do you not get it? And you're like, well, they didn't do what we did.
But it's the cheat code, though. See, I believe it's the cheat code. So, we just talked about Mark Megna, right? And you guys may be going down anatomy. But, Mark was at Equinox, I think, for like 9 years. And he would, pick the trash up off the floor always, this, that, the other, And then one of the clients that he was training, I definitely hope I'm not getting this story wrong, but, ended up going into partnership with Mark to open anatomy. And everybody's like, no, you should open your own thing. He was like, oh, I'm not ready. But he came there as if it was his business, right? And brought that fire and energy and clean it up and as if it's my own business, because you're like, well, one day I'll have my own business. And this is why I think it's the cheat code, because when people operate like that, right? And you go like, well, when I have my own business, then I'll really put in a full effort. No, you won't. Because the thing is you're practicing right now how you're going to operate, right? So for 5 years, I don't have my own business and I'm going to kind of, give my 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10. You can't just turn it on. You're practicing the skill set, right?
Yeah,
and I think that's
point.
where, if you behave that way,
and
you want to have your own business one day, you will if you operate like that somewhere else.
Sorry, go on.
No, I just wanted to make that point because I think it's the cheat code where most people don't do it, but it's the biggest opportunity.
It's so hard to find them people.
Especially in the modern day climate, with the way it is now, and especially the city. We're in Los Angeles, California. There's a lot of affluence, but that's how I attacked it from day one. It was like I just couldn't believe that I'm in a boxing fitness class and someone's going to pay me a little bit of money to just catch punches. I was just like, this is ridiculous. Because I've come from a working class town in England where it's just like you work your ass off for 12 hours getting your hands dirty and it's just like crap money at the end of it, right? So I had like that, this is an absolute honor to be able to do this. It still feels like that. That's never going to go away for me. I always feel so privileged to do what I do. But it's just, I attacked it from day one like it was my business. It wasn't. It was Tony and Kevin's gym. I was just the first coach there. And I just gave it everything. But I treated it like, I treated it like mine. And I have so much love and passion and pride for that gym and that brand and everything that it's given us with the academy and all the licensing and everything. But those opportunities to start the certification with Tony, to start the licensing with Tony, to do it, to have the clientele that I've got, those are results of attacking it like it was my business. So if there's any advice I can give to any coaches or anyone working inside somebody else's business, listening to this or watching this, I'd say no matter where you're at, if you're on the front desk, if you're cleaning, if you're, one of the coaches, whatever level you're at in that facility or company, approach it with passion and hard work. Give it everything you've got. Have pride in your work and attack it like it's yours. Whatever your role it is, it's your role. It's your thing. And from that, you'll get noticed. People will be like, that guy works hard. That guy's always on time. That guy's always showing up. That guy goes above and beyond. And then it starts. And going back to it, we struggled to find coaches that would do that. And we try and instill that in them in meetings and team leader meetings and all this, team bonding stuff. Some would get it, some wouldn't. And the ones that didn't would always have an eye over their shoulder, like, why has that guy have done that? Like, why is Glen traveling the world with Tony on this academy? And like, I want to do that. Why do they get the opportunities? I'm like, well, attack it like it's your own and show up on time, go above and beyond, and we'll bring you in. We'll make you family. You can be with us forever. They've always had that attitude, but it's just.
You guys hear this a lot, right? I'm gonna piggyback on this, but it's like know your own value, right? And because you hear that a lot now, like know your worth. You know, like, no, give me, and I'm like, hashtag show your worth. You know what I'm saying? Like show, like there's no, if you show value and you keep doing it consistently, it's impossible to not get noticed.
That's the key, the consistency.
And especially in this day and age, it's like, if you keep showing up and going above and beyond, well, there's actually two things happening. Let's say that you have a shitty boss, right? And those around, don't get me wrong, right? And they don't, like, even though you're doing so much, even though they're not recognizing you, you're building skill sets and you're building a standard of how you operate. And you go somewhere else and you'll crush it, right? If it's truly not. But the thing is, you have to consistently for a while show the worth. Right now, I'm seeing a lot of, I don't know if you guys see the same thing. I'm just saying and again, it's not everybody, but a lot. I would say, unfortunately, the average, where it's like, sure, I'll do this. What I get? Like, give me all these things. I'm like, I don't even know what you can deliver consistently. Like, I was, you know, like, what?
It's kind of like this. A lot of this, like, self-empowerment, like, your mentality, mindset that's put out there. It's like, you can be whatever you want to be, and you're the best, and you can go crush it in whatever you want to do, right? And they just miss out that vital point that it's like, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods didn't get to where they're at because they were just special, right? It's because they've been doing this thing day in, day out, thousands and thousands of hours of repetition and passion over and over and over again to get to that point. And that's what is always missed out with those messages. Yes, you can go and do whatever you want, but guess what? It's going to take you weeks, months, years, repetition, passion, showing up day in, day out, putting the work in, and then you'll get to where you want to be at. And that, I think that's missed a lot of the time. And people are getting that message and they're like, oh, I just have to, I got hired at this job. And it's like, all right, now what? And I'm not saying it's like that everywhere. We see a lot of that in LA, but it's just got to have that caveat.
I feel like people are looking for the home run. You know, it's like, let me get this home run opportunity. And when I feel it's that, then I'm going to really give it my all. And it's like, it just doesn't work that way. You know
just give it your all anyway, and then it'll be
I mean, and like you guys went through all these phases. Like after we started a gym in Slovenia, I came here and started from scratch. You know, so I'm at LA Fitness, I'm in the big box gyms. And I'm like operating like, you know, I'm gonna be the best here. I'm gonna show up and do all these things. And then I go from one place to the next. I show up and do you know, and it's like years of honestly work that most people wouldn't want to do. But I'm like, okay, well, what are these folks doing? All right, I'm gonna do things so much better and so much differently. And I'm gonna just keep doing them. And guess what? Like, I didn't know, you know, what's email marketing? They didn't know shit about that. There was no social media, you know. It was just like, man, that guy, like, he's doing stuff different. Like, his clients are always, like, really happy in different training sessions. They're getting the results and they're talking about it. And it would organically grow, right? But you gotta show up and do that every day and not, you know, just like you said, it might be the 72nd client might be the one or whatever, right? Like, you have that, like, you know, the next one. And if you operate like that, man, like, great things are gonna happen, you know. But that, you know, here's the thing, because you guys have had this progression of, you know, do the thing and then go teach the thing. What was the point in time where you go, all right, this is successful. Like, I think we're gonna turn this into, you know, first the certification, then now the license, which we'll talk a little bit about, because just from a business perspective, because I mean, obviously we're using it at Vigor now. It's excellent. Like, I mean, I wouldn't even do anything that's not excellent, but this shit's excellent, like legit excellent, right? But what was the transition where you were like, listen, now we're gonna go from being, you know, practitioners and continue to be practitioners, but then be, you know, teachers of other coaches.
Yeah. So I was always looking for coaches for Box and Burn, and I called a guy who I know called Amal Easton, who's in Denver, and he's got a bunch of jiu-jitsu gyms. And I said, Amal, how do you get all your coaches? Like, we getting them and we're losing them and not stopping on, and it's really hard to find passionate people. He said, I created a certification course for jiu-jitsu, and I invited all my members, and my members took the course, and from them I kind of picked the best ones out, because our members are passionate about jiu-jitsu already, and they know what a good class is and know what a bad class is. I went, oh, that's a great idea. He said, yeah, so you should do a certification course for boxing. I said, oh, I think I will. He went, will you? I was like, yeah, I think I will. He went, when? I'm like, I've not really spoke to this guy before much on the phone. I'm like, I'll get around to it. He went, announce that you're going to do it in 6 weeks. I'm like, what? He went, when you come off the phone to me, announce that you're going to do it in 6 weeks. I'm like, 6 weeks? He went, are you going to do it? I'm like, yeah. He went, announce that you're going to do it in 6 weeks. I went, why? He went, because then you'll do it. I'm like, all right then. Come off the phone, Glen. Starts speaking to Glen. Glen said, oh, it's a great idea. Let's announce it. I'm like, all right. 6 weeks, we're doing a boxing certification course. Shit, we've got nothing prepared for this. Anyway, that 6 weeks give us the time to come up with the curriculum, more than enough time. But what he done there, he put the pressure on and said, you're going to do it? Well, fucking do it then. Don't just hang around and procrastinate.
That's funny. That was just a random dude you talked to for the first time. I mean, not random, but like...
No, I've met him before, but I've hardly ever spoke to him on the phone. But the way he was like, well, announce it then. I'm like, all right, mate. I was like a bit intimidated. All right. So we did it. We announced it. 6 weeks later, we've put the curriculum together. We've created booklets, and we've done our very first certification course. And we invited all the members. We were charging I think it was $95 for the course at the time.
Wow.
Which is really low compared to, for one full day. And the course went great. We hired a couple of people from it, but we invited people from the outside as well. And they were coming and they were like, yeah, this is amazing. And like coaches, then we were like, we've just absolutely loved it. We've done another one and then another one, and it was getting bigger and more popular. And then it was like, this is the best thing ever. Because now, like Glenn mentioned, we train people one-on-one, or it might be a group class setting, so we can have an impact on that one person's life, or 20 people in the class, 30 people, whatever it is. But now we're helping these coaches, having a massive impact on their lives, because now they can generate more revenue in their field, whether they're a personal trainer or they want to get out of their dead-end job and they're passionate about boxing, they want to start teaching boxing, or they want to open a gym. Now we can help them do that, and they're going to then help hundreds of more people. So we're having an impact on more and more people that way. And then obviously it blew up. Our personal brands blew up, and that continued to grow. And now we've worked with over 3,500 coaches or fitness professionals, certified them from around the world, traveled to multiple countries, and it's the #1 boxing certification course in the world. And it's what we both love to do.
And it's a similar kind of story to the gym as well. We was talking about how it was like really raw and organic, and then you start to learn the systems. Yeah. Similar with the academy, like we had that 6 weeks, quickly, like what are we going to teach? What are we going to do? We got booklets printed that were like this big, and we gave them out to everybody. And then it's like, that was the first one, and it was like, 15 people or whatever, and most of them were members of the gym. And then it's like, then you start to learn about how do we make this more valuable, how do we give them, back-end material, start creating videos for them to keep learning, and all kinds of stuff. And then we just keep, we never kind of sit still. We're always like, how can we add more value? How can we more value? And it just, stuff just build.
Well, a quick question. When did you guys do that first?
That was 2015.
Yeah, like December 2015, I think.
By this time, we'd been named #1 gym in California for men's fitness with our Box and Burn gym. And we had systems in place that we created for teaching boxing, from the perfect formula when someone comes in for the first time. How do we teach them from the ground up? How do we coach them in a way where we give them confidence, so if they're not doing well, that they're going to come back? So we got the psychological stuff down as well. And that, people absolutely love that, because it's helping them, like I said, have success, help more people, generate more revenue for themselves. And yeah, our systems is now it's proven with thousands of people.
Yeah, the reason too why I say this is because, I think there's a natural progression. It's like when you keep improving something and making it better, you get to a point where organically people go, how do you do this? Yeah. And you go like, all right, well let me teach you, right? And then that becomes a certification, and you want to keep making it better, which you guys have. I didn't know you. That's like 7 years ago.
Yeah, 7 years ago.
7 years we've been cert. Wow.
COVID, put a block on it for the year, but yeah, we've been a year and a half. And then we come online with it, and we're helping people with the course online, so you can do it in person or online.
Multiple levels too. So it was like we started off with a level 1 course, which was just foundations, fundamentals. Ran with that for a couple of years, and then as it got more popular, the common question at the end of every course is like, is there a level 2? Is there another one? And I want to do more of this. So then we developed a level 2 course, which helps like build, their skill set, like coaching and mitt work and stuff, and advance the boxing for their clients, but also Tony does a keynote about how to build social media, how to create content. So we started thinking about how can we give them a little bit of a business brain too, because it's like we want to try and give the coaches everything they need, not just like the hands-on stuff, but like teach them how to be a good coach and how to build their brand online and just think outside the box a little bit, because not everyone just naturally thinks of that stuff. So yeah, we developed the level 2, and then we actually developed a level 3 a couple of years ago. We've done a handful of those live, and then taking it online as well. So just keep constantly extending the product, expanding the product.
Since we did start this, the big question that we got forever is, so how do I teach like multiple people or a group class? How do you do that at Box and Burn? How do you teach these group classes? And that's when our licensing idea came in, where it was like, you know what, let's give them it. We give them everything else. We give them all our systems, our methods of teaching, one-on-one, small group. Let's give them the classes. Why not? You know, let's have an impact on more people's lives. And like that's kind of our mission, to make the world a healthier place through boxing for fitness. Let's do it. So now what we can do is give gyms, like what we've just started in Vigor, the Box and Burn class, what we've been developing for years now. We can deliver it here, give you all the education, give all your trainers the education, how to teach it successfully. You know, we're not like a lot of businesses who keep their secrets. Oh, this is my secret. This is my way. This is our way. We're the opposite. We're like, no, this is working. We're having success. Seattle, we're not in competition with you. We want you to have success with it. We want Perth, Australia, the Netherlands, the guys in England who's got the gym, Chicago, New Hampshire, all these gyms that's getting these classes in now, they're now having loads of success with teaching boxing for fitness. And we're a part of that. So it makes us so proud of what we've achieved.
Man, and I can confirm, I think it's a couple of things to unpack here. Is like, I think it's really important for people that are, first of all, be great at what you do and stay being great at what you do.
Yeah.
For a long time, you know, I mean, every story that you hear, it's like with you guys. I mean, and let's not even bring in that, like, obviously the pro component, all those years, but just the coaching. You guys spent years and years and years getting there, and then started teaching. And, you know, I think that teaching makes you better, right? It's like if you
100%.
teach it, you got to become better at it. So then you go do that, and then there's, you know, you had success in the real world with the clients and then with the business. And then you go like, okay, like now we're going to package this. And like, I mean, look, this is, I could be biased here, but because I teach a lot of business and everything else, like you guys have legitimately given everything.
Yeah.
And I've, you know, obviously we're using the back end, we see the whole back end, but it's because it's not just, you know, this is such an important part in business. And I know in boxing this happens, that happens in fitness. I think it happens even more in like fight training and fight sports. And for instance, boxing, the back end. Like you know, essentially like, how do I promote it? How do I market it? How do I launch it? What type of posts? What are the email autoresponders? You know, this is where people get like stuck. But it's like you guys have the whole back end on that, and also the social media part. I did want to touch on this because the brand part. You know, you can't. These days it's like you can't not pay attention to this. And we were kind of talking about this as far as, you know, that there's really successful marketers that used to say, forget about your personal brand, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
And now it's like turning around the tunes and going like, hold up, actually, personal brand is really important. And I wanted to touch base on that, just like, you know, kind of like the top, because obviously you guys share and teach that inside of the, I would say the license as well, which is so dope, because it's like, here's the framework, do this, it'll work, like you'll win. But for everybody that's listening, like what are some things that, you know, and obviously you've blown up on a lot of different media channels that you would go, okay, here's my top 3 to 5 things that are simple. They're not going to be easy. You're going to have to do the work. But when it comes to building personal brand, and, you know, of course, you can speak more to some, I would say, platforms than others, but just like the general 10,000-foot view, what's going to get somebody to build a personal brand and be in demand and be known and recognized and deliver value to the marketplace.
The number one thing is consistency. Like I mentioned earlier on, you could be at one post away from that going viral and changing everything. And I understand that to post on social media, it is nerve-wracking for most people who's not posting. And then you get people thinking, well, I've got to do a video and talk on camera. I can't talk on camera. But you don't have to talk on the camera. You can do videos where you're not even speaking, and they can go viral as well. There's lots of different methods of doing that. But the number one thing is, for most people, is getting over that hurdle of being worried about what people think of you. Now, a great example of this is my wife, who is a nurse, nursing for 10 years in the emergency room. I start having success on YouTube, and I've got a team of people who's helping us. I was like, Sarah, you need to get on YouTube and do videos. She's never been on social media in her life. Do videos. It's going to be great. We can really build a brand of that. And she's like, not a chance. I'm not speaking on camera. I'm like, no, you need to. You know, we've got everything in place. We've got all our equipment, everything. And she's getting really nervous, and she's thinking about it. And she's like, no, I'm not. And I said, why? Why would you not do it? Because you know that it could be successful and it could change our lives even more. Why would you not do it? And she went, I'm just really afraid about what people at work will say about us. I think that they'll slag us off behind my back. They'll say, who does she think she is, trying to, do videos on how to get over flu fast or these different medical things. They'll all be slagging us off behind my back at work, so I don't want to do it. So when she said that to me, I seen a little red mist, and I'm like, ugh. And I said to her, I went, and this goes for anyone out there who's thinking about posting social media, but you're worried about what people think, is if someone you know is going to talk behind your back or give you shit about trying to improve your life or trying to build a brand on social media or doing something you want to do, if someone you know is going to talk bad about you about that, then fuck that person. That is a person that you don't want anywhere near you in your life. If it's not a person that's going to support you for whatever you want to do, then yeah, we don't want them in our life, right? And she's like, yeah, no, that's really true. Obviously, that doesn't get over all our nerves about doing it. And this is what I want to talk to you, Mrs. about as well. I want to say the same thing to her about it, because I know she's got that little hurdle as well. Is, yeah, fuck them people and do it for you. And then she started posting, really nervous, and then she got a little bit more comfortable with it, and now she's starting to build a bit of a brand, but it's still there. The seed is still there. Sally at work is who's Sally at work, man? Come on, she's miserable. She's miserable with her life. There's not really someone called Sally at her work, but I don't think so anyway. But you know what I'm saying? So the biggest thing is, post, get over that hurdle. It is scary. And with the fitness professionals, I remember I used to talk to the box and burn trainers, and the same thing applied. It was like, come on, post. You need to post more. You need to post more. And there was one, he's like, even though he's a trainer, he's like, I'm not in great shape right now. I'm just afraid about, what people say about how can I post a education video when I'm not in shape myself. And I said, yeah, I get where you're coming from, but people like you for you, who you are. And the same thing applies if someone's going to slag you off, get them out of your life. And anyway, he went, well, what if I just do some talking into the camera post? I went, do one. Go on. Oh, wait, come on, do one now. So he done one, and he got a client from that one post in the camera saying that he's now he's teaching whatever he was saying, and he got a client. But anyway, back to the building the brand. That is it. The consistency is thing. Try and get 1% better on each video, which you 100% will. You'll be terrible at first. I look at my first videos, and I was stuttering. I was shocking. I didn't know what I was talking about. Education was shit. But if I quit then, I would never have done what I've done on social media.
Goes back to what you said about when you are showing up day in, day out, you're building skill set, even if you don't realize it.
Yeah. And I remember one of the first videos that I put out on Instagram, I was thinking, should I put this education video out or not? It's one of my secrets. It's with me secret where, what I used to do when I'm in fights, I would jab someone to the body. Next time I feint the jab the body, the hand comes down, I would hit them with a left hook. And this is my secret. This is what I made up, even though everyone does it. It's my thing. Should I put a video out on this or not? I'm like, oh, this is what I teach my clients. I'm going to do it. So I create this video. And I'd done it, and I posted, and this video on Instagram blew up. I had like 2,000 followers at the time, and it got like 15,000 views. I'm like, what? This is unbelievable. I can't believe it. And I start getting new followers. I'm like, wow, this is great. And then a week goes by, and there was a gym down the street who was doing these boxing classes, and one of the trainers out of the gym, who was not a boxer, copied my video and did the same video. And I was raging. I'm like, oh, now he's teaching this and this is my method. Oh no, I knew I shouldn't have posted that video because now everyone knows me secret. But again, I soon got over that and I soon posted another one. And now it's like, I give everything. We don't keep any secrets.
Oh, yeah.
In the education, in our certification courses, in our group classes, in everything we do, we give it all out. And then what happens? It comes back. It's like Gary Vee's got a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. It's got nothing at all to do with boxing. It's about give, and then ask. It should be 100 jabs, then a right hook.
Agree. Yeah.
So I've been doing these jabs forever. Give them value. This is how you punch harder. This is how you punch faster. So many tips, hundreds of tips. And all of a sudden, we're in Melbourne 2 weeks ago. By the way, we're coming to Melbourne for a certification course. Boom, the course sells out. Because I've been given value, I mean, amongst other things, and Glen as well, who's doing the same thing on his at a very slow pace, but he's doing the same thing. I mean, he is. If he listened to me, he would have as many followers as me.
It's true. It's like what you're saying about consistency.
He's not consistent,
Yeah,
but he's putting real value.
You know what we got to do with Glen? The 6 weeks, you know what I'm saying? Like when you got called out.
Yeah.
In 6 weeks,
when are you gonna start doing every post every day?
Yeah.
4 days.
Yeah.
4 days.
But he's got the knowledge. He's great on camera.
Oh, yeah.
He's got everything to do it. He just doesn't do it.
I was just telling you the stories.
Yeah.
Look at fucking Glen. It's killing.
My reason for not being consistent is I have a lot going on.
He's not even his reason. He's excuse.
People.
Let's say not my reason.
Excuse.
Let's say my excuse.
Yeah.
But that's it. And then what happens is even Glen. I'm making fun like he's saying that, but he's got a great brand. He's got a solid, loyal following of people who love what he's doing because he's giving this great content out. And so yeah, it's like jab, and then ask. When you ask, you've built that trust with people, and they're like, yeah, all right, I'll buy for you because you've never been asking for anything ever, rather than the opposite. What a lot of people do, a lot of trainers do when they come and work with me, get my 2-for-1 special. I'm the best trainer ever. Come and do this. I'm this. I'm that. I'm this. No, and Luca, I know that you know this as well because you've done the same thing on Instagram, but more on Facebook, where you just value. And then you see what happens to your shit. It just goes boom.
Especially if your business is education, your content should be educational and value.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I think that it's literally the same offline and online. Seriously, I mean, you guys literally said it though. You're giving so much value before you launched and had a physical location, and you give more value. And people, by the way, 93% of all word of mouth is offline still. Right. So what happens? Wow. Yeah, this is a real stat, right? But what happens is that somebody will watch your video and they'll tell their friend. You know what I mean? Like they'll tell them offline. Right. Like people watch the stories of their friends working out and they share, and then they go and their friend goes like, "Hey man, I see you working out at that gym, dude. Like you're strong." And then I'll get a text from my client and go, "Hey, can I bring a friend in?" Right? But they saw it on social, but it's still offline. But the point that I'm making is, if you took, if you're doing a great job offline, transfer that mindset and just go like educate like you educate clients, just do it online and try not to, I think this is a problem sometimes in the kind of fitness professional space is where coaches are trying to, look good to other coaches. And I'm like, what are you trying to do? Like, I'm trying to build my clientele, or get online clients. I'm like, well, then show what you're doing with people you're having success with. Forget about that, the other coaches gonna be like, yeah, man, like your biomechanics are great. Who gives a shit, right? Like, are we helping people? Or the jab, right hook? And it's like, if you have that mindset, because what I started thinking about, I was just like, hey, I'm just gonna block out time every day to do content and educate the marketplace. Like it's just in my schedule, right? Like I coach. Okay, cool, I shoot some videos. I'm gonna post, like it's just part of my schedule. And then, then you get that where people start reaching out to you, whether it's for a physical gym or if you have an online product, right? It's like, I mean, my problem I ran into, which is we're launching a bunch of stuff next year, but it's people like, I want to buy something from you. Like I can't come to the gym. I live in another country, another city, whatever. And I'm like, I don't have anything to sell, but it's a good problem to have, that you have a lot of people wanting something because you deliver so much value. Yeah. So I'm not even asking, like people ask, like, what can I get, right? But that happens through that mentality. It's so simple, but it's like you have to deliver the value. You got to be consistent.
Post what you do.
Yeah,
basically,
exactly. Not
right?
like don't make shit up. It's just like just
it's
do
like
what you do.
If you're a comedian, like make me laugh on your Instagram. Don't be like, oh, here I am at dinner, and then I'm like, here I am on a hike, and it's like, you're a comedian. Like, make me laugh. Like, you know, if you're an educator, educate me on your Instagram.
So if you know, what I tell people, because I do a seminar at our education course where I talk all about building brand and how to grow a following. Well, first I see why you should build a following. If you want to help more people, you know, that's the reason right there. But as well is, whether you like it or not, if you've got a bigger following, people think that you're doing well. And it's like if I went down the street and there's 3 restaurants and 2 of them's empty and 1 of them's busy, that's the best one right there, right? So I'll tell people, if you want to grow your following, you've got to be giving me a reason to follow you. Is your content, is it educating, entertaining, or inspiring us? If it's doing one of them 3 things, then I might hit that follow button. Now, if you listen to this, go on your Instagram and you want to build a following. If you don't, it's fine. Go on your Instagram account and look at your last 6 posts that you've done. If I don't know who you are and I come and click on your Instagram, is them 6 posts on your Instagram account going to give me a reason to follow you or not? If you're posting a picture with your mate when you're at dinner, or you're posting a picture of your cat and dog, you know, nah.
Yeah.
But if you are entertaining, educating, and inspiring us, or even better, doing all 3 on each one of them posts, then there's a chance that I will press that follow button, and then that's going to help build your brand and build your name, and you know, and just help your business grow.
And I think that's the filter you got to look at it through. Is like if I go on my thing, is this going to be valuable to the audience that I want to serve, right? Not like it's like my friend is like, here's my cat. Like, look, if you're not in business, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's not social media. It's like it's business media, right? Like, and again, that's how simple it can be. Something that you do if you coach all day, right? You coach a lot of the day. Something that you taught, go and teach it to everybody else. That's going to help them, right? Like whether it's in boxing, it's like, all right, check out this drill. This is a drill you can do at home. If it's like your back is bugging, all right, I do that all the time. Like, here's the drills I use for my back not to be bugging me. And that's valuable. Yeah. Bada boom, bada bang. You know what I mean? Yeah. I know we already went past Tony's 1 hour. You know what I mean? He's charging triple time now. but man, this was honestly so valuable. And I wanted it to go wherever it's going to go, man. Like, I really appreciate you guys, but I also want to let everybody know too. Look, where if you're, I'm such a big fan. We brought Box and Burn here for the first time 5 years ago. 4 or 5.
Yeah, when we did a certification course.
2018, I think.
Yeah. Just 4 or 5 years ago. Loved it. I mean, honestly, I got back into boxing for the last 3 years, and that's, to be honest, that spurred it, right? And got do one-on-one coaching. Like, I'm going to be in this class as like the reason why we picked this up, because I believe in what you guys do so much, and because I love boxing and it's so integrated well into fitness. And you guys haven't like really fully launched this, which I'm whooping your ass for, but I'm telling you, like, you gotta check this out. I want to know, where can people follow you, but also where can people find out more about Tony Jeffries Connect? I mean, we're gonna be, if you follow me and you watch Vigor, you're gonna see a lot of it now, because we have classes. We're gonna have classes every week, every day, almost every day. But where can they find out more about that and you guys?
Everything's on TonyJeffries.com, like everything. So if you go to TonyJeffries.com, you'll see on their academy, instructor academy, you'll see Connect for clubs and facilities. So everything you need on there, you can browse around, read all about it, find.
Yeah, and if you're a gym out there, gym owner, and you want to add boxing, now we can help you with all of that, where it's everything from the education to the programmed classes, to the marketing materials, like a turnkey solution to adding boxing to a facility. And I mean, Luca, you've been in the industry for so long now, you know this, like boxing is one of the most popular things out there in fitness right now. Everyone wanting to do boxing. And there is some gyms out there that just teach boxing classes, but rather than letting your clients go there, now if you add this to your gym, you can pull them clients back in and keep them at your location. It's exactly what you're doing, Luca, and and it's not that big of an investment up front, and you can easily generate revenue from it.
Yeah, and I would actually encourage anybody that's if you're a coach, if you're a gym owner listening, message me if you want to know. You know what I mean? Like about, because legitimate, I'm straight up, like, less than a $5,000 startup cost to have everything set up.
That's including equipment and everything.
That's including equipment and everything. And everything. Like, so imagine a business, and the amount of, like, especially, first of all, if you have members, this is the lowest hanging fruit that you can do, because you'll have a lot of people that just kind of upgrade and upsell to that. But if you don't have a lot of this in your area, and trust me, like, take one class, you'd know. But imagine having every workout for the whole year done, and it's videoed on the screen. Like, this is what this is. And like, we have really good kind of, excellent world-class boxing coach. But to not have to program for that, like we calculated it, right? Like it would take 40 to 50 hours of programming if you're really good at programming these workouts per year, and it's done. Like, you show up, it's like world-class shit done for you. You know what I mean? So again, hit me up. Again, I'm gonna, obviously be a big promoter, because I always said this, right? You can't get better at what you don't do. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's like, I'm going to do everything that I kind of push and promote, because I believe in it so much. So appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
If, as always, listen, if you enjoyed this, please share it. Also, like, leave a review. It helps so much to spread the word. And two, like right now, and then continuing for right now, this podcast doesn't really have sponsors, because I never really went after it. So if you found value in this, and it takes time and energy, obviously, to make this happen, man, if you could share a review, I would highly appreciate it. Guys, we'll be back next time, Vigor Life Podcast. Appreciate you. Peace
also,
out.
if you're still listening at this point of the podcast, right, he's something, because it's really late and it's at the end, and I think most people are switched off right now. Send me a direct message saying that you listened to the end.
Bam.
And what I'll do, I'll give you my video package for free, which is teach you how to be a boxer, better boxer, get better at boxing, which is worth $300.
Oh,
how
shit.
about that?
Okay.
Right. But you're not
see
allowed
that one coming, baby.
You're not allowed to tell anyone. And you're not allowed to apply for it. Look, you've got to pay for it, right? But anyone else. How about that?
Done deal. You heard it. You better listen to the end. All right, my friends. Peace out.